everyone, let me introduce myself. My name is Averbina Brubarus, and here I will tell you about a good film that is highly recommended for teacher and prospective teacher, namely The Ron Clark Story. The Ron Clark Story is 2006 American television film starring Matthew Perry. It is based on the true story of educator Ron Clark. The film tells the story of an idealistic teacher who leaves his hometown to teach at a public school in New York City, where he faces various challenges with his students. So, curious about the story? Let's find out together. The Ron Clark story begins with Ron Clark, also known as Mr. Clark, who previously taught at Snowden Elementary School in Aurora, North Carolina in 1994. He had been teaching there for several years and had successfully helped the school achieve a satisfactory graduation rate. However, he eventually decided to move out of town. This decision was regretted by his family and colleagues at the school, but Clark still chose to go to New York. Upon arriving in New York, Clark immediately searched for a public school where he could teach. He faced rejection, but eventually found a new school, Inner Harlem Elementary School. He was accepted when a teacher resigned. The next, the principal, Mr. Turner, took him on a tour of the school and showed him the classes he would be teaching. Clark was drawn to a class known as the problem class, where no teacher could last long due to the students' undisciplined behavior. Mr. Turner finally allowed Clark to teach the class, reminding him that the national exam would be held in May. Okay, Clark was very excited to begin his assignment. Before starting teaching, he first visited the homes and parents of each of his students. From this visit, he discovered the students came from very diverse backgrounds. On first day of teaching, Clark found the classroom in complete chaos. The students ignored their teacher and showed no respect whatsoever. Clark struggled to adapt and began implementing some rules. One of the main rules was to treat the class like a family, where all members should help, respect, and care for one another. In his early teaching days, Clark faced many challenges, especially from his student behavior. They disrespected the teacher, often vowed and engaged in various mistakes. One day Clark tried to talk to one of the students, Sameka, but she ignored him. An angry Clark then flipped Sameka's desk. The incident caused laughter from the other students, who felt they had beaten Clark. They even made bets on how long Clark would last. After the incident, Clark felt remorseful and hopeless. He considered quitting teaching in Harrow. However, a friend named Morrison, a woman he admired, encouraged him to persevere and prove his worth. With this encouragement, Clark decided against it and returned to teaching the next day. Along the way, Clark also faces pressure from the principal, Mr. Turner, who disapproves of his teaching methods. Mr. Turner focused more on grades and student graduation, even asserting, "My school, my rules, my way." He continues to insist that all students graduate. Clark employed the teaching method unlike other teachers. He strove to make learning fun and tailored to students' interests. Some of his methods include using radio or tape records, encouraging students to move around, teaching in a relaxed style, and even occasionally sitting at their desks. He also strove to understand its students' challenges and help them individually. He took the time to provide additional guidance and develop each student potential. And gradually, the student began to change and came to like Clark. Clark worked extremely hard for his students' success, even neglecting his own health. As the national exam approached, the pressure grew to the point that his physical condition deteriorated. He continued teaching even though he should have been resting in the hospital until he collapsed in front of the class. At first, the students thought he was faking it, but then they realized Clark was genuinely ill and began to worry. While hospitalized, the learning process continued. Clark talked through video recordings he made with the help of Morrison. A week before the exam, Clark returned to the class and provided reinforcement. Now, the class has changed significantly and the sense of community has grown together and has grown strong. When the day of the national exam arrived, Clark felt extremely anxious. After the exam was over, he seemed relieved. As a token of appreciation, he took all his students to see a performance of the Phantom of the Opera. However, upon entering the theater, Clark realized that one his student, Taesound, is absent. Taesound is a talented student in drawing. Clark then searched for him and eventually discovered that Taesound is experiencing abuse from his parents. Clark then invites Taesound to stay temporarily at Mr. Turner's house. One of the day of the exam result, Clark invited the students' parents to attend. Mr. Turner then announced the result. One of the students had achieved the highest score, and the class average was the best, even beating the top class. The classroom was filled with joy. One student, Someka, expressed her gratitude on behalf of her classmates. Mr. Clark, thank you for always being there for us. Even when we didn't want you, you inspired us to dream big. And in appreciation, the entire class dubbed Clark the best teacher in town. Okay, so that's the story of the film The Ron Clark Story. And Ron Clark's story concludes that success in education is determined not only by academic ability, but also by a teacher's sincerity, passion, and dedication in guiding their students. This demonstrates that every student has potential that can be developed if given the right attention and opportunities. Furthermore, the film emphasizes the crucial role of teacher in shaping students' character and future. Okay, the moral message is the importance of hard work, sincerity, and the belief that change is always possible, even in the most difficult situation. Okay, guys, that's all from me. Thank you. Bye bye.